everybody. Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 226. And if you're going to be listening on a podcast tomorrow, turn that radio up for that sweet sound because, Aaron, we've got an awesome show tonight. The jersey retirement ceremony. I don't think we have clips of that because of...
We do.
Oh, we do.
We have a clip from...
We have certain things that are happening there. Oh, there it's raining down. It's awesome. It was an amazing ceremony. I only got to watch it after the fact, unfortunately. Aaron, you were there. And when we get to that game, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But, it's some exciting stuff. A whole lot of excitement around San Jose, not just with the young players, the ones to look forward to for the future, but, again, Joe Thornton and celebrating his career. It's going to be a fun night, I think, to talk with you guys about that. So if you can, do us a favor, folks. If you're in here right now, please share us out to all your Sharks friends and family. Get us out there. Get them in the chat right now because the conversation is a lot more fun. The show is a lot more fun. We've got a lot of people chatting with us and chatting with you. So there you go. Aaron, where do you want to start here?
Well, we can go back to the beginning of the week. The first game, which was a great game against the Detroit Red Wings, who I always love to beat, going way back to the original days. But this game was a game where the Sharks ended up winning in overtime in spectacular fashion with Macklin Celebrini on the breakaway and putting it away on the breakaway, which is... sorry, not breakaway. It wasn't quite a breakaway. Granlund set him up, and he just skated and blew by everybody. So it wasn't like a clean break or anything. But he did like a power move, basically, and took, I think it was Talbot was in net, and took him by surprise and beat him glove side. So it was an amazing finish. But we'll start there. So I just gave the ending away.
Yeah.
But going back to like I put all these notes in during the game. So I'm like, okay, so I won't forget, right? And... so I'm looking back at these notes. I'm like, man, it feels so long ago that I wrote these. Because it was last Tuesday or Monday.
And speaking of long ago, before we continue with this game, I do happen to see some comments, and I pointed to one, and I think it's hilarious. Yes, I'm back from suspension. I guess that was the joke. I wasn't here. See, I'm not here to defend myself. It's not fair. Apparently I was suspended for saying bad things about Noah Gregor, and that's why Devereaux came and sat in for me. By the way, thank you, Devereaux, for sitting in once again. I really appreciate you always stepping up to the plate and being here. I know you enjoy it, but it actually does help us out. So, again, thank you for helping us out there. But I just thought that was really funny because I popped into the live and I saw the comments. I saw the comments.
You were late to our own show.
Yeah. I got things to do, buddy.
Right.
I'm You know why I was gone, the real reason.
You were on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was Rochester. The boy had a tournament out there. So, the time difference on top of just being busy with the kids and the teams and everything else. Yeah, it was a very late night. But I was there, okay? So, I don't want to hear any more from you guys, all right? Just kidding. Okay, anyway, yes, the Detroit game. A fantastic finish, we'll say.
You should read that one.
Okay, what's going, fellas? Tapping in from Copenhagen, Denmark. Hello, it's 6 a.m. here. Good to see Paul fresh off his suspension. Been trying to get that suspension joke going for a while now. CJ, thank you so much. Appreciate you interacting in any way possible. Hopefully we'll...
Good morning, too.
Yeah, again, good morning to you. Yeah, hopefully we brighten your morning just a little bit here with some of the topics. But yes, another one now? Is a 5-stream...
It's just going to keep going.
Yeah, we're just keep doing this? Okay. It was a 5-stream suspension. Nope. I got off on good behavior. The Detroit game. One of the things that's here of note is Mackenzie Blackwood. Blackwood doing what he does best and doing what he's been doing all season long, whether or not he gets the win, whether or not the defense plays good in front of him, whether or not he gets credit for the way that he's been playing. The man stands on his head night in, night out, and I am extremely looking forward to the day where he gets traded because he deserves it. Not because the Sharks can get a good no, forget what we get in return. The man deserves it. The man deserves to play for a team that is worthy of his talents, worthy of his efforts, and can help lead them to a Stanley Cup run properly, unlike the whole Aiden Hill situation.
See, I agree, which is why I'm pumping up his tires, because I want a bigger return coming back for this guy, because he is a great goalie. He is a good goalie. But I'm also not worried about him being traded because the Sharks are in good hands with either Vanacek and or Askarov, which we'll get into a little bit later because he played in his first Sharks game. But I'm not so worried anymore about, I guess, losing a good goalie because we have almost a gluttony of pretty good goalies. Vanecek's not... He's good, but he hasn't performed as well as or as consistently well as Blackwood has. But yes, I think, and we keep talking about this, I think, every week, that Colorado's been heavily scouting him and wanting him because they desperately need goaltending. I don't know if you saw the news the other day, but St. Louis Blues fired their coach and hired Jim Montgomery again. I think that was today they hired Jim Montgomery. But the coach, I don't even know his name, not going to work here anymore. He was there for 22 days. I think it was a 22-day hire or something like that. It was so short. Yeah. So they fired him because Jim Montgomery got fired by the... what team was it? Bruins. He was on the Bruins.
Okay.
Coach of the Bruins. They fired him. St. Louis is like, whoa. We want our guy. We're going to fire you, who is our current coach, and we're going to get Jim Montgomery in here and back coaching. So within like a day or two of him being fired by the Bruins, he got hired by the St. Louis Blues. Kind of weird, musical chairs going around in the coaching staff in the NHL.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's one of the shortest
Vegas Golden Knights level.
Yes. It was one of the shortest stints of a head coach that wasn't like an interim coach.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't an interim coach. This was like he was introduced as the head coach and
Wow.
So stuff going down in St. Louis. Anyway, we'll get to that game in a little bit too because that was against the old coach. Go ahead.
Unreal. But back to Mackenzie Blackwood, and I think where you were to go, you think the Blues were looking for goaltending too, or are you just bringing them up just because?
No, I was just bringing them up. But Detroit, however, has Cam Talbot in net.
Yes.
Cam Talbot's kind of a favorite to be on Team Canada for the upcoming tournament coming in February. Instead of the All-Star game, they're doing this international tournament. I think it's only 4 teams, if I'm correct. It's U.S., Canada, Finland, and Sweden. Maybe.
Okay.
I think that's it. So not a lot of guys are going to get breaks, but I think this is great. I like this. I like that they do this instead of an all-star game. I wouldn't like it every year because it's kind of cool to see an all-star team. What I would like them to do, because nobody plays the all-star game seriously, they kind of make it fun, but it kind of gets stale after a while, and they need to reboot it and change it. Similar to football, like the NFL, nobody watches the Pro Bowl because nobody wants to hit hard. They're not going to get hurt, right? I think you just do like in football, they call it the All Madden team, right? Like it's just a named all-star.
Yeah.
Do the skills competition. I think those are great because it's fun to see little games that you could reproduce at home, but you're seeing professional athletes do it, and it's so cool. I'm getting off on a tangent. Yeah. Cam Talbot is supposed to is a front runner as a goalie, whereas there's a case being made that Blackwood should be the one that is going in there. Now, it's hard to say because Blackwood's on the Sharks, and he's not getting as much credit for being a good goaltender because he's a good goaltender on a bad team. So this game, especially, one of Eklund's goals. Did you see this highlight?
The glove?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad. I mean,
really bad.
That is like pee-wee hockey bad.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, this kid just learned how to play goalie, and I feel bad because it's a kid that's just learning to play goalie. Not an NHL goalie who goes to catch it. It's going wide and comes out of his glove and goes in the goal.
And you know what's funny about Pee-wee goalies is that glove side, they should all be the best on their glove side than anywhere else, right? And the reason being is a lot of kids play multiple sports, namely baseball right? Yeah. And so if you can catch in baseball, you probably, as just a reflex, are pretty decent as a goaltender with your glove, right?
If you can dodge a hammer, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, right. Well, he dodged this puck and it went straight into the net. No, it bounced off his glove, up, grenade, falls down, and explodes. Yeah,
it's
so
embarrassing.
It's pretty embarrassing, really. Yeah, that's the right word for it.
The Sharks have a knack for scoring these goals in St. Louis. Owen Nolan at center ice against Roman Turek, like that comes to mind. I don't know. They just need to throw some bombs in St. Louis and they're just gonna land.
I guess. Hey, if it works, it works. But what didn't work this night was good goals coming from the Blues. We saw a lot of goals that Mackenzie Blackwood really didn't have a chance on, right? And it's hard to put the blame on Mackenzie Blackwood. Now, I've been called the goalie apologist several years over now, but I think for me, when I take a look at the way the goal gets scored and you go, okay, did he really have like a chance here? And for for the 4 goals that got scored, to me, they don't look so much like it's a Blackwood issue so much as a weird gaff or something that was a bad coverage or whatever. I mean, like in the first goal, Larkin had the puck in the paint, basically, like totally uncontested giveaway that goes up to the point, and a pass comes down to him, and he's standing by himself, and he just backhand roofs it. So it's hard to blame Blackwood on that one because there's no help in front of the net. I think that was Wallman tried to clear the puck around, or at least get it up to the point to whoever was supposed to be on the wall, but no one's on the wall. And it's funny, we have this discussion with the 12U kids too. Like, they're dumping the puck up the wall. It's like, are you even looking? There's nobody there. You can't just throw the puck and look, we run these drills in practice, and it's like, yeah, in practice the guy's standing there because we're running the drill. But you have to get your head up and take a look. And in this case, Wallman just sends the puck where he thinks his player ought to be and gets picked off, sent down low. Larkin gets it, backhand roof. I don't know.
Coming back online.
Right now?
Here we go, yeah.
We're good now?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for staying with us. Appreciate that. I don't know exactly where we left off, but what I was talking about earlier was Mackenzie Blackwood and the goals that went in. The Larkin getting an uncontested goal off of a bad giveaway, then going on to the shot that he saved, the rebound kicked out. Now, yes, rebound control, but again, no one was there to help clear it out. The other one was a Wenberg gaff, right? He's carrying the puck kind of out towards the front of the net. The stick pokes it off of his, and it kind of banks in, right? And then the other one was the power play goal where the shot hits a sliding Mario Ferraro, and Blackwood kind of slides over. Actually, it was a pass, I think that it was going to be. And he slides over to block, the shot that's coming from the other direction. But Ferraro sliding blocked the pass, and it goes right back to the guy who passed it, and he shoots it in. Again, I look at all these goals, and I go, is Mackenzie Blackwood really responsible for, I don't know, any of these? Maybe the rebound, right? Maybe the one where he shot, saved, the rebound kicked out. Maybe there can be a case for
better rebound control.
Yeah, maybe you can make a case for better rebound control there. But at the same time, again, you got to have guys that are clearing out those high danger chances. When the puck pops out to a guy who's as close to me and you, right?
Yeah.
When it's that close, you've got to have coverage. Otherwise, that puck's most likely going to the back of the net. Mm-hmm. So I take a look at all those goals from the Detroit game, and I have a really hard time blaming Mackenzie Blackwood for any of that. Now, you were talking about Cam Talbot as the guy potentially for Team Canada. Mm-hmm. It's nights like this that could help ruin Mackenzie Blackwood's chances if the people aren't actually looking at the body of work. If they're just looking at the stats, yeah, it hurts, right? But if you look at the body of work, I think in this game specifically, Blackwood looked a lot better than Talbot did. I mean, when you have that goal that goes off of the glove and in versus he makes the save, he's in the right spot, he's anticipating properly, but everything around him is just breaking down, right? And I think when you're playing for Team Canada, you're probably not going to have those types of breakdowns that you would see with a team like the San Jose Sharks. Could be wrong. Doubtful. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about Mackenzie Blackwood, and I kept going back to him. But you were impressed with Eklund in this game as well. I think we already talked a little bit about that. He got the 2 goals. We
not
just
even
talked
this
about.
game, just in general.
Okay.
Like going into even the next game into Dallas, he had a 5-game point streak going into that game. So he has been. I mean, Granlund's obviously been great because he's a point per game player. He's been there every night. Eklund is right there with him, and even Zetterlund's been pretty consistent. That whole line is so good right now, and that was the top line at the end of last season, and it was kind of sad because that's a good second line on a good team, right? Yeah. It's not a good top line last year. Mm-hmm. This year, they are a good second line, and they're kind of leading the team right now. But the fact that they have Toffoli and Celebrini and Smith, like they're not really playing together, but they have those combination of guys filling out. The team is a lot better at scoring. They haven't done it quite well enough, but they are much better than they were last year. So, but that line specifically, the Lund line, Granlund, Zetterlund, and Eklund, have been impressive. The chemistry's been amazing between all 3 of them. They move the puck around so well. They kind of know exactly where the other one's going to be. It's everything that you would want a line to do chemistry-wise and how they come together and stuff. Not to mention Eklund and Granlund both kill penalties. Mm-hmm. I don't think Zetterlund does, but he's more of the shooter of that line. I feel like Granlund and Eklund are more of the passers. But every time Eklund has the puck, you can't get it from him. He protects it so well.
Yeah.
And he possesses it so well. I don't have the stats. I didn't look up these advanced stats, but his break into the zone has got to be one of the top on the team. Top 3 probably. Him and Granlund, I think, are up there. They're just very good possessive type players that protect the puck and make plays happen. So they're great playmakers to have on the team. So they're exciting to watch. And to have him have a 5-game point streak is fantastic for how young he's still very young.
Yeah.
He's a 7th overall pick from 3 years ago.
I think 3 years ago.
3 drafts ago, right? So it's great to watch. Now, he's not going to be the savior that I think everyone thought he was going to be when he was first drafted, but it shows why he kind of fell to the Sharks in 7th and why it was considered that he fell down, because he probably should have been the top 4 pick. But I'm glad he wasn't, because I'm glad the Sharks got him. He's great player.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Every time he touches the puck, you get this sense that something magical is going to happen. And it's kind of that same Macklin Celebrini feeling, right? Every time he touches the puck, you're kind of on the edge of your seat, just waiting to see what he's going to do, right? Mm-hmm. And Eklund, for me, is kind of the same way. I've seen him multiple times over now. He loves that little pass behind as he's cruising behind the net.
Yes.
And if he's coming in on the right, going to the left, that puck's coming out the right-hand side before he crosses, right?
I feel like we all know, and we're waiting for it, and the other team has no idea.
And obviously the Sharks seems to know, because when they get into that medium-high slot area, they're just waiting to see, okay, he's going to unload this puck to me before he gets behind that net, and they're ready to go.
Yep.
So, again, with him, I love the speed of the game. I love the vision. The vision for me, and again, I've talked about this before with playmakers, right? It's not just good passers; it's guys who can make a play. And William Eklund is one of those guys. He has the ability to, see where the skating lanes are and where the passing lanes are, and not get them confused, right? A lot of times, guys will get fixated on trying to make that pass when they have open ice to work with. Eklund takes that open ice, but he's got his head up all the time, and he's finding these lanes, and he's creating these lanes. And there's always something magical happening with him. And you say, people you don't think he's going to be the savior that people thought he was going to be. I don't think he needs to be the savior. I think we got guys that are kind of going to have that position on this team. I think William Eklund's going to fit in just fine, being a second best, solid prime playmaker, right? Oh, we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. See, this is what happens.
Hit the wrong button.
This is what happens when you're gone, right? For a week or so, and then everything just kind of falls. Now I'm back. Okay.
I don't want to hear about freaking fragile. Okay.
Just working the gremlins out for the people on the podcast. Don't worry about it. So there you go. No, but I love what William Eklund brings to this team, and I think he's a very good complementary piece to the very young talent that's going to be taking the spotlight in future years. And William Eklund is just going to have a fantastic career, kind of just outside of that all the bright lights. I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to his growth. And again, like you said, he is still very, very young. We have an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old on this team, and I think he's next in line in terms of how young the guy is.
Yeah.
So just a phenomenal talent, and he's still blossoming. That's the crazy thing. He's a physical guy too, as well. Like you said, he loves to protect it, not just with the moves. And we all seen the spin moves and everything else, right?
Yeah.
But he loves to protect it in a very physical sense.
Mm-hmm.
He attacks hard on the body. He does all the things that you want a forward to do. So very impressed with William Eklund lately. I do have to agree with you. Although honestly, I'm not surprised. We've seen him, and I even said this in previous seasons. What was the best part of watching last season? I think who was it that asked us that question at the draft
Drew.
the draft party?
Was it
Drew?
Yeah.
He said, "What did you like the best about that?" And I said, honestly, it was William Eklund. Watching him grow.
Yeah.
I think you said Zetterlund, but William Eklund for me, it was watching him grow last season was like the most exciting thing for me. And for this season, obviously, it's Macklin Celebrini, right? Mm-hmm. And a close second is the continued development of William Eklund. That's kind of what the joy of the season's all about.
And one other thing we talked about before we went live is William Eklund, his kind of nasty spell that he has, right? He has some grit to him. He's not just a finesse player. He gets in people's faces and does not back down from a scrum ever. He gets, like, you touch the goalie, he's in your face.
Yeah.
You hit him the wrong way, he's in your face. So I felt like he kind of honed in on that last season because they kind of looked at him and were like, you don't have any help right now. Like, there's nobody here to help you.
Yeah.
You need to figure this out, and you need to kind of grow up and mature a little bit and throw it back to them. Like, don't take any stuff from anyone to keep it family friendly. So I think he kind of honed in on that last year, and I think he carried that into this. Added that to his game because I don't think it was quite there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it was quite there when he first started. Or at least I never saw any of it. So now it's like every time he's on the ice and there's a scrum, I'm like, oh, Eklund's going to get in there. I know he's going to just face wash someone, just kind of do some of that stuff that Joe Thornton used to do. Yeah. I mean, Joe Thornton was so much bigger than him, but he just doesn't back down, and it's great to see. We need more like that. More like that from everybody, not just a couple of people. Everyone needs to have that.
Absolutely. And a guy who actually, you see a little bit of it, Macklin Celebrini, same thing. You've seen him in some of these scrums. He doesn't back down. Yeah. And yes, he's only 18 years old. Yes, the bones are still soft, like I said. But again, 6 feet tall, still growing. And, again, I've seen him in these scrums where somebody kind of pushes him a little bit and he turns and just cross-checks this guy like right in the elbow, which has got to hurt, but like he doesn't back down from anyone. And you think about the level of fitness that he has, right? Obviously with his dad, right? Instilling that whole culture into him. And the way he impressed at the combines and everything else, all anything that had to do with fitness and whatnot, everything was, man, this kid is just... He's there in terms of fitness level. He's ready for the show. He's ready for the grind of that many games.
He's peak fitness. Like
absolutely.
He probably has zero body fat on him because he just works out constantly.
And he's going to get bigger. Right? That's the crazy thing. So even at 18 years old, and I heard one of the commentators say this, he may be young, but he's not like gangly young. Yeah. He's a solid little dude. Yeah. And he's not going to back down from anyone. He took a really big hit, and he's like, yeah, that doesn't bother Macklin, folks. Don't worry. He's okay. He's not this little boy that everyone thinks he is because he's 18. He's like a young man. This dude is fit. He can handle hits like that. They don't bother him. And on the topic of Macklin Celebrini, the game we were talking about for the past 25 minutes, whatever it is, the Detroit game, goes to OT, and who else, right? Macklin comes up with the puck. Now this one, going from Eklund to the next London line, Granlund, he gets the puck, brings it across the blue line. Everybody thought this was offside, but he did a great job getting his feet into the zone, pulling the puck in, and even though, I guess...
There's a special rule.
Yes, because his feet were in the zone and he's in possession of the puck, it's still considered onside.
If you're in the possession and you skate in backwards, that's onside.
Yes.
Which is, he kind of like turned, and I think it kind of threw everyone off a little too. Like they might have just stuttered just a little bit because they're like, oh, it's offside, it's going to blow dead, and then, oh, no, it's not. I think, I've also noticed this a lot. Linesmen are not calling offsides when it's close anymore. They're letting the play happen
so that they can review it later.
Because they can review it. Before they could review it, they would call it dead. Now they're kind of like, let's let it play out and see what happens. If it's close, I think they're instructed. I'm speculating here. I think they're instructed. If it's close, don't call it because we will get the call right in the replay. Yeah. So let the play happen. And this was one of those plays where it kind of like at the eye test, you kind of like, did he have possession? Because he was also getting stick checked at the same time. Was it offside? Well, we'll review it. And then they scored. And you're like, okay, well, we'll have to review it. And there was a delay of, was this a goal or not? And then they called it a good goal.
So that was just to get onside. Then the puck goes over to Macklin, and he pulls off this nice little move. Gives a very quick little stick handle as he's breaking in towards the net, and just a little boom like that. And then, just like we try to teach the kids, is instead of loading up and firing from that, it's that quick little stick handle, and those low kick points and the low flex sticks, guys. This is what they're for right here. Is when you have that little stick handle and then you just pop those hands out, and in one motion it just snaps like this, and you get so much whip on the stick with those types of sticks, those low kicks, the low flex. Now Macklin, I don't know what he has. I'm sure it's much higher than anything I would ever use, right? But he's far stronger than I've ever been or will ever be. And he makes this thing, just a beautiful shot, goes right underneath the arm, right over the pad, right inside the net, game over. And again, it was just a great play, a great heads-up play by Granlund, and a great job by Macklin to make sure that he just keeps going until you hear the whistle. Play until you hear the whistle. and he beats the defender, beats the goalie, and everyone's happy. Celebrations all around. It was fantastic.
And we do have a stat on this from Darren Stevens.
Oh.
So here it is. This is from Blue Sky. Darren Stevens. Macklin Celebrini, age 18 years and 158 days, is the youngest player in the Sharks' history to score an overtime goal. The previous was Jeff Friesen. He was 18 and 235 days on March 28, 1995 versus the Jets. The only younger player to score OT goals since 83-84 season ever in the NHL, Sidney Crosby at 18-101 and 18-146, and Jordan Stahl at 18-153. So he just missed out on the second most behind Crosby because of Jordan Stahl. Beat him by 5 days, which is ridiculous. But amazing. It's funny, you watch him play, and I keep saying it. I keep going, this kid is 18.
Yeah.
Like, it is insane how young he is and how good he is. He plays like a, 21, 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, you just think that he's older and you forget that he's 18 years old. This kid is going to be, he's going to be so good for so long for the Sharks. I don't know if the casual fan kind of quite understands how phenomenal this guy is, because think Patrick Marleau, right? Patrick Marleau is the only, and Friesen too, but Marleau was more consistent than Friesen was. Marleau started around same, like that, super young, and jumped into the NHL and was producing at an okay rate. This kid blows him out of the water. No offense to Marleau,
of course.
but he was a little more sheltered. The team was a little structured different than it is now, but he's going to be so good for so long. Think in terms of Marleau. How long did Marleau play on the Sharks? This is how long Celebrini's going to be here, because they are going to lock him up when they can for a long time. He's going to be a Shark for a long time. So Patrick Marleau is Mr. Shark. Celebrini's going to be Mr. Junior Shark. I don't know what else to call it, because he did play with the Junior Sharks too. So
Okay. I want to clear something up
Mr.
real
Shark
quick.
Jr.?
I'm going to clear something up real quick with the whole So he played 1 year with the Junior Sharks.
Because he moved.
But the Junior Sharks, and again, obviously this is a Shark show and I have no problem with the Sharks, but the Junior Sharks like to claim him as their, he was the Junior Shark.
They have the picture. They have the picture to prove it.
Guys, please. He played for you for a year, but let's let it go. Okay, you didn't develop this guy, all right? You didn't develop him. It's okay, all right? We can be happy that he wore the colors beforehand, and that's fantastic, but you didn't develop him, all right?
I mean, that's kind of the hope of all of those teams, right? Is to have somebody that makes it to the NHL, not even just first overall, just in the NHL in general.
Anywhere.
And you get to boast about it.
Yes.
That's normal.
100%.
Every club team does that.
100% they do. Absolutely.
How many clubs get to boast about having the first overall pick?
How many podcasts have to sit here and set them straight? Every single one of them.
Jeez.
There you go. Fantastic. I love the bell, my friend. Okay, so Macklin scores OT winner. Everybody's happy, and we move on to Dallas.
Yes.
Right?
This trip was brutal. Like, just in terms of, like, the scheduling was pretty rough. The whole month is pretty rough. In fact, the Sharks have played kind of the most games in the NHL. They've played 23 right now. Let me see. I think that tops. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only Pittsburgh and New Jersey and the Sharks have played 23 games. Everyone else has played less. So they've had a lot of work, especially this month alone. It's been, I think I talked about this earlier, might have been last week. They have 15 games in 30 days of November.
Yeah.
So they're not all quite spaced out. They do have some breaks because they have some back-to-backs, but that's a lot of hockey. They had 4 games this last week. They have 4 games this upcoming week, and there's Thanksgiving in there, which they don't play. Like, nobody plays on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But it's sandwiched. It's so this is why Will Smith is getting breaks, because that is a lot of hockey to be played in a very short amount of time, and their bodies, maybe even their mental capacity isn't even quite ready for it yet because they're so new. What?
Don't get me started on Will Smith tonight, please.
Oh, hi.
Please. I'm going to be suspended for another week if you get me started on Will Smith tonight.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Are you upset?
Don't set me off on Will Smith. Let's stay on Dallas, please.
All right. Dallas game. Go ahead.
Dallas game. So the final score was 5-2.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned here, there's 2 empty net goals here. So it looks a lot worse than it actually was. Realistically, the game was 3-2, and the Sharks decided, let's just go for it, right? And to Dallas's credit, they get 2 empty netters. It's pretty fantastic. The Sharks, again, I think last season, and especially when back when we had EK65,
yes,
we were known as the empty net team,
yes,
constantly. Which I guess, in a way, you can look at that as a positive because we're constantly so close, right? We're always right there, but we just couldn't get that extra one, and so therefore we pull the goalie and we get scored on. But prior to that, gosh, we were right there, right? And in this game, no different. Again, 3-2. Sharks decided to pull the goalie. Dallas scores twice to make it a 5-2 game. Looks a whole lot worse than it actually was. But you've got some stats here on Blackwood. And again, Blackwood in net plays fantastic.
Yep.
Stands on his head. Does a great job.
This was, let's see. So 3 goals against, not 5 goals against for him.
Right.
So his save percentage was actually .897, just under 900. At that point, he was still .910 save percentage on the season, which, when's the last time a Shark has had .910 save percentage?
Yeah.
It's been a long, it's pre-Jones era. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So the Sharks goaltending is finally doing well.
Yeah, somebody who had 9-10 and were like a quarter of the way into the season, not like after a game or two where they had a shutout, and you know what I mean? So, having a decent body of work on the season so far and had a 9-10 save percentage.
I mean, if you look, the Sharks do have a large goal differential, but a lot of that is empty net goals. It's not the goaltending. So it kind of skews the stats a little bit, makes the team look a lot worse than it is.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying the team is great. The team is not great. They're progressing and getting better, but it's a big difference than last year. I mean, again, a lot of casual fans look at the record and they go, Sharks are almost dead last in the league again.
Yeah.
What's going on? This team is so much more exciting to watch, so much better. They're in practically every game. I mean, empty netters. How many empty netters this week alone, right?
Yeah.
So they're in every game. It's competitive. They're not getting blown out anymore. The Sharks are much, much better. But yes, going back to Blackwood, save percentage, he's playing well. He keeps the Sharks within striking distance. He keeps them competitive and keeps them in the game. So hats off to him once again in this game. Now, one of these games, I forget which one it was. Which is the one that Vanacek got hurt? Was it the Dallas game? Or
I don't know.
I don't remember. One of them wasn't the Dallas game.
I know Askarov gets called up in the next game, and it's likely because Vanacek was out, right? So
it was before that, sorry.
Okay.
Because Askarov was on the bench for the Red Wings game. So Vanacek was out. So Blackwood played those 2 games. And then we'll get to the next one. But
okay.
What do we have here in the next one?
Well, the next one is the back-to-back in St. Louis. I don't know if we were done in Dallas.
Yeah, that's it for Dallas, right? So then that Eklund got another point, I believe, in that game too, right? In the Dallas game. That was the end of his... Yeah, he got an assist in that game. So that was his points in 5 games. Mm-hmm. So his streak got to that game. Then we go into flying from Dallas straight up to St. Louis and play a back-to-back.
And because it's a back-to-back, generally you see a goaltending change. And who was called up, of course? Yaroslav Askarov. It's so much fun to say his name.
You know what's funny? The day before in the game in Dallas, they were asking Warsofsky who's going to start today and who's going to start tomorrow. And he said, Blackwood will be starting today. Yeah. I'm focused on this game.
Yeah.
He knew Askarov was going to be called. It was going to be the goalie for St. Louis, right? But he didn't want to say it because that would be the story.
Right.
Keep it focused here.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a different day. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to play my hand right now. You're going to have to keep guessing, which everybody knew was going to be Askarov on the back-to-back. Yeah. So, go ahead.
So, Askarov in the St. Louis game, unless we're done with Dallas?
Yep.
Okay, we don't need to talk about 5-2 losses.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a lot of losses. If we didn't talk, we wouldn't have a show.
Yes.
Let's get real. But this one here, Askarov gets the call. Everyone's super excited about this to see the young goalie come in and prove to the Nashville Predators, you guys didn't know what you were doing, okay? You should have played me when you had me. You don't deserve me anymore, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to show you from the drop of the puck what you're missing. And he did exactly that. 11 seconds in, they score. 11 seconds in. Okay, so he gets the puck behind the net. They dump it in off the faceoff. He gets the puck behind the net, plays it up the wall to nobody, and it goes to I don't even know who the player was. One of the other players.
Whoever got the first assist.
What's that?
Whoever got the primary assist.
Yeah,
right?
so it goes to one of the St. Louis players. Faxa.
Yeah.
And he rips it down low to
Walker.
Okay. And
I mean, I was talking about this the other day. It was bad luck
obviously, to turn it over, right? But what luck does Faxa have to block it? Not only just block it and stop it, because it was rimming around the boards, right? And it goes right to his stick, and he just quickly plays it to Walker, who's right in front, and taps it. And it was like, it was such a bang play. It's like, man, it's bad luck for one that he turned it over. Really bad luck that they went right to the guy's stick. Really bad luck that there was a guy right in front of the net, right? Yeah. Welcome, not to the NHL because he's playing the NHL, but welcome to the Sharks.
No, I mean, yeah, okay, he's playing the NHL, but I don't know if there's, because guys have this welcome to the NHL moment. Right, and it's not necessarily on day one or game one where they're playing, right? It's something that happens that is just like a slap in the face. Oh yeah, I'm playing in the NHL. I can't imagine in the 2 games that he got with Nashville that something like this happened to him. Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't a Nashville fan, but if there was something other, okay, fine. But if not, for those 2 games, in this game, that was definitely your welcome to the NHL moment, right? To play that puck around, and then there's a guy standing right in your crease. He just taps it right in. 11 seconds into the game. First shot on goal, brutal. And it goes in, and you're going, oh my God. Now, as a Sharks fan and somebody who knows that this guy is going to be a fantastic goaltender, I wasn't exactly panicked here. And I'm sure a lot of people were going, oh my God, 11 seconds in, right?
But it was so early. There's a lot of hockey
There's
left.
A lot of hockey.
Yeah.
The amount of saves this guy made, the amount of big saves he made directly after that, to me, that speaks more than the fact that he misplayed the puck and let one in 11 seconds in. The bounce back, what he did after that, to me, is what you're looking forward to in the years to come. His ability to shake that off, let's just keep playing, right? And he made save after save after save. He looked fantastic. And again, another really young guy stepping into the NHL and doing a great job and giving the fans something to look forward to for future seasons to come.
I was impressed with his athleticism for how large of a guy he is. I want to say he's 6'3", which is pretty big for a goalie.
Yeah.
There was a save specifically where he was practically full splits.
Oh yeah.
Across the goal. Not just full splits, but having the leg strength to kick that pad out and stop a couple chances there. I was impressed. I was impressed with that save, obviously. Yeah. Part of the other reason I think he's going to do well, obviously he's athletic. Obviously he's a great goalie. But he's a right-handed catch. And I think it throws so many players off because players are instinctively used to goalies catching with their left. So you shoot low stick side, right? Or whatever. So when you switch it and it's opposite, you're so used to shooting when you're in this position on the ice or this position in the ice. This is where you're going to shoot. This is where you're going to shoot because that's where you're going to get the higher percentage of goals. And it's now reversed.
Yeah.
Now you have to kind of think about it and you stutter just a little bit or you just try and do it how you normally do it and he's making those saves. So I think that's going to benefit him and it does benefit him already. I remember when the Sharks were in their heyday and they had Pavelski and Thornton and all those guys. Every time they played a right-handed catch goalie, I'm like, you guys keep shooting to his glove side. Like, stop it. They just don't think about it. They forget about it. So I think that's going to play to his advantage.
And you know, you think about it and you think of all think of all the big name hockey players, right? With the exception of Ovechkin, a lot of the big name hockey players you could think of are left-handed shooting, right? And if you think about that, if you're left-handed shooting, okay, and you're skating in on a goalie and he's a left glove, that means on your strong side is his stick side, right? And now all of a sudden you've got this right-handed catch. And now you've got to deal with, instead of somebody who's trying to get the blocker up when you're trying to go top shelf, they just raise their glove, right? Oh, I'm sorry, right-handed glove, right? So it's something definitely different to deal with where you think you can go top shelf over that stick side and all of a sudden there's a glove there. And it's true for, again, those left-handed shooting guys, which I think make up the majority of players in the league being left-handed.
Listen to this list of right-handed goalies. Roman Turek, Tom Barrasso.
Okay.
Tony Esposito, Grant Fuhr, right? Like, they throw people off. Yeah. You're a good goalie anyway. Yeah. Those guys are good goalies, but it throws people off, and I think their numbers are going to be a little bit better because of it. Slightly. I mean, it's just, all you need is a slight advantage.
Yeah.
Right? Just enough. Just a nudge.
So there was, again, the gaff goal, right? The one where he kind of rims it and welcome to the NHL. 11 seconds in. Okay. The other goal that gets scored on him, again, I said he had save after save after save. The other goal that gets scored on him is one that goes from the wall, a pass to Jordan Kyrou, who's sitting in front of the net, not by himself. He's sitting in front of the net with Granlund and I think Liljegren draped on this guy. Like, he was wearing them like a cloak. And somehow they didn't tie up his stick. His stick is down, and again, in the paint, he gets a little one-time like tap, and it goes in. And I think it even went off his pad first, and then it went in. It's hard to fault him for that goal. Yes, the first one, 100% his fault, sure. It's hard to fault him on that goal when you've got two guys covering one guy, but nobody ties up his stick, and he's in the paint. Right? And you're sliding because the puck's on the wall and it passes across and now you have to slide towards the middle again. So, yeah, you're moving as well. It's really hard to fault him for that one there. But let's just throw it to the side for now. He made so many good saves that if you forget about that one and you forgive the 11-second one, right? I mean, what a fantastic performance by a young goalie, a rookie essentially, right? He's had a couple games, yes, but it's only been a couple of games. What a fantastic performance and what a statement game for him. And again, I love the fact that, yes, he gave up that early goal, but man, did he battle and he didn't let it get to him. It didn't get between his ears.
That's big.
Yeah.
Mentally, that's big.
Absolutely.
To be able to bounce back from that awful giveaway is speaks volumes of his character.
And I think some goalies would have a hard time bouncing back from just getting scored on in 11 seconds.
Right.
Let alone the fact that I got scored on because of something that I did specifically. Because I had to go out of the net and play the puck. Right? I think most goalies, even if they're square and set and 11 seconds in they shoot and they score, that's going to get between their ears. This guy screwed up and it went in the back of the net. Yep. And he had such a great performance for the rest of the game.
It's Ted Lasso of Be a Goldfish. Goldfish have a memory of 6 seconds. You still haven't watched that show.
I have not bothered to watch it, no. Yeah.
Who are you? Anyway.
Be a goldfish.
Yes.
And that's what he did.
Okay.
His best goldfish impression.
I'm very, very happy for him. In this game, Wenberg, I tell you what, I'm really liking Wenberg.
Come back, kids, man.
What a fantastic grab by GM Selke. GM Selke.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I heard that.
If you saw
Did
the
you see the look on his face? The look on his face.
He's like, "Oh man, now the world knows." So I guess Joe Thornton has a nickname for everybody. That's his main thing. He gives nicknames to everybody, and he gave a nickname to not then GM, but to his teammate Mike Greer. And he called him Silky.
Yes.
Fantastic. I imagine it had something to do with the mitts, but maybe not.
Maybe it was a sarcastic
view
of his mitts. He was not known for his puck handling skills. Mike Greer.
Anyway, Wenberg. Silky with a great pickup here.
Yes.
Alexander Wenberg.
Yes, absolutely.
What a leader, first of all, on the ice. Fantastic face-off, man. I didn't realize how potent he was offensively until he played for the Sharks, where he gets more opportunities to do it, right?
Absolutely.
But no, he's actually stood out quite a bit. I'm super happy with the pickup. And he's one of those guys that we talk about, the Sharks having a lot of bottom six type players. This is one of those guys to me that is like that middle six, right?
Yeah.
If you get an injury in that second line, he can play up, no problem, right? He's gonna and it'll work flawlessly.
And also get second power play minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm loving Alexander Wenberg. I think he's a fantastic pickup, and I think he's brought quite a bit to this team.
He's got 5 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah.
And 12 points in 23 games. That's every other game he's getting a point. That's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
That's a 40-point pace, 42, 45-point pace. I'll take that from a kind of, I guess, a third line center, if you will. Second line center, third line center.
Well, on another team, right?
Yeah.
So again, very, very happy with him. Now you've got a tweet here, I think, from Darren State. Wait, it's not a tweet. Is it it's on Blue Sky?
Because Blue Sky.
We're trying to push Blue Sky a little bit more here.
Yeah,
actually, a lot more. But
Twitter, it's just kind of going into dumpster.
Not a fan.
Not a fan as much.
A lot of people are coming over to Blue Sky.
There's been a mass migration over to Blue Sky in the last month.
Okay.
And
Darren Stevens being one of them.
Darren Stevens is now over there. You're seeing more writers come over, more media people are coming over, so it's starting to build up. It's kind of nice and refreshing too, because I mean, I started my Twitter account in 2010. It's been so long that it's just full of junk at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like you hit a reset button and you're starting fresh again. So and it's all people that are active, because there's so many people on Twitter that don't even use their accounts anymore. So it's just like, you have like, a couple thousand followers and there's 100 active, right? Like, it's just, you don't get as much interactions. It's not as fun. So there's less bots, there's less junk out there. So I've been using it a lot lately and getting a lot of interactions with people. Anyway, so here it is. This is the post, I guess you will, from Darren Stevens. With tonight's game-tying goal by Alex Wenberg, the Sharks have 5 game-tying goals within the final 10 minutes of regulation, which is the most in the NHL. So if it feels like the Sharks seemingly keep coming back, it's because they are. They are. They're leading the league in comebacks. So what was that at that point? What was that game, the St. Louis game?
I love that it said within the final 10 minutes, and this is within the last 9 seconds.
That's 5 of their 22 games.
Yeah.
They've come back and tied the game. Now, if you go back to, I hate to go back to last season, but how many games did we lose by a goal last season? Like all those empty netters, right?
Yeah.
Now you're starting to see, okay, 5 of those games they've actually tied it.
Yeah.
That's 5 points that they didn't have last year. So that's kind of making up the difference of last year again, showing how much they're jumping up in the standings as much as they are, but not leading the league to the bottom and getting the first overall pick again. So happy to see it. There's no way you should turn off a Sharks game at this point, even if they're losing, until the very last second. I mean, this was 9 seconds left in the game and they tied it. So I was on the couch watching this one and I jumped up and screamed, celebrating. I think I was watching with my son and we were just like, yeah!
It's funny you say that, because I did the exact same thing. We were sitting on the couch, and I haven't done that in a long time.
Yes.
For a Sharks game. And it's not because it just hasn't happened, but even last season I was going, hey, that's great if we look good, but man, we should really be losing, right? This season I feel it's a little bit different here. I'm not like rooting for us to like get
lose.
I'm not rooting for us to get Macklin. We already have Macklin. I'm good.
We just saw the last comment. I wouldn't mind another first overall pick. I mean, no, do it. But I want the Sharks to get the first overall pick by winning the lottery, being in the bottom 10, not being the worst, and possibly losing the lottery. That's the worst. If they were in last place and some other team won the lottery, that would suck.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, the first overall pick is ours. We're going to get it. And then they don't win it, and you're like, oh, now you feel like you lost it. So I would rather get it winning the lottery, not being in that first top 3 pick. I think that would be amazing. Or bottom 3, whatever team. That would be the way I would want to get it from now on. That was awful. Last year sucked.
They won the lottery 3 times. If you saw
they did.
The ball got picked.
And no team had ever won twice.
Yeah.
And the Sharks won 3.
Yeah.
That was crazy. They're so good at winning.
I'm confident in our chances if we get
or they blew them all in that one draft lottery. That's it. They'll never again get it.
But again, this season is a little bit different. So when that goal went in with 9 seconds left, I jumped off the couch, nice little fist pump, the scream, right? The kids were like excited about it too, and like, again, my oldest Jay was like, like we were all like, again, happy, screaming, excited Sharks fans, and we just haven't been that for a while. So that one was really nice to see that one go in, and just really exciting, again, to have it get down to the wire, have it be really tight, be exciting, and they come out on top because they have enough talent to do it now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So again, just a fantastic game there. Unfortunately, it goes to the shootout and they lose.
Ugh.
But shaking his head.
Get rid of the shootout already. I'm so sick of it. The Sharks are going to go 0 for 20 on the shootout this season.
So would you rather it go just overtime, and then if not, then just a tie?
Gee, just
flip a coin at that
No,
point.
but you can't. It's the same thing as doing a shootout then. So the coin flip is stupid.
But they would have more points if they went to a coin flip. The chances are they would win one of those.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, we used a ball of luck on Macklin.
I mean, I would just, I don't know. I'm fine with ties, so I don't really care. I'd also, the amount of overtime games adds, that's 5 minutes each to each player, right? Or to each team. That's a lot more minutes in the end of the season of more hockey. More than the 82 games that they're already playing. I'm just, I don't know.
That doesn't bother me at all. Come on.
I like the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
I like the 3-on-3 overtime. I think it's exciting. I love it they did it because it was 4-on-4 for a while, and that just kind of got stale, but then it went 3-on-3. Before they went 3-on-3, it was 4-on-4.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So I like the 3-on-3. I think it'd be hilarious if there was a penalty and they did 3-on-2 instead of making it 4-on-3.
Inline, they do that because you only have 4 players,
4-on-4.
so you can go down to 2 players.
Oh, you can for it. Oh, interesting. They don't push it up to 5.
It's really fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's so tiring.
It really is.
For the PK.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
actually,
man.
It's not really because the 2 guys are pretty much standing there going, please, just shoot the puck already. Let her go
shoot
and
it
take
so we
a
can
save.
get the rebound.
Yeah, there's not much we can do here. Just kind of standing here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of fun. But so they end up losing this game, and it doesn't take away from the excitement still, you know? It was still one of those things where, you know, we're watching it and we're pumped and we're jazzed. Yeah, they lose in the shootout, but you still got to watch really good hockey and you still got to have those moments, you know? So it didn't really take away too much. And like you said, it's a skills competition.
It
right?
is.
So it really shouldn't take away one way or the other. The way I see it, the Sharks were 9 seconds away from not getting a point and they stole one.
Exactly, yeah.
So, okay, fine. We don't get the second point, whatever. If we lose, whatever. It doesn't matter. We still stole a point.
I don't mind when you tie the game up. I don't care if you lose or not after that. Like, I mean, I guess I care, but it doesn't hurt as much as if the other team ties it when you have the lead and it's so deflating. You're like, oh my God, that was 2 points right there just waiting for it. And then when if you let's say that happens and then they win in overtime or the shootout, then you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't blow it completely. Like that just sucks. So this was one of the last games that their coach had before he got fired. St. Louis.
Oh.
And I wonder if that was part of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they couldn't close the game out.
Yeah, against the lowly Sharks, you know?
Yeah.
Moving on from this one was the Buffalo game. We're not going to talk about the Buffalo game first, though.
First, before the Buffalo game, was the Joe Thornton.
Now, do you want to do the roll call now so that they can tell us as we're talking about it, or do you want to do it afterwards?
We'll do it during the clip.
During the clip.
Yep. Okay. Before we do the clip. Okay, Joe Thornton retirement ceremony. This was awesome. I missed the Marlowe one. That was 2 years ago now. I don't even remember where I was, but I couldn't get to it. So I didn't really get to watch a lot of it, or even, I just saw kind of highlights of it. So this was kind of my first banner raising jersey retirement for me. It was fantastic because I thought they did a great job. I'm sure they had practice because they had Marlowe's before, so they kind of knew what to do and what not to do. They had so many former players, like practically anyone that he'd ever played with on the Sharks. They called them up and said, "Do you want to be there?" And they absolutely, you're paying for it, we'll be there. Yeah. And they were there. You know who was there? And I got a picture of him because he was on the Jumbotron. The owner, Hasso Plattner, was in the house.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't want to say it's rare because when we mentioned that, who was it?
Was it
Drew?
Becker.
Oh, Becker. Yeah. Jonathan Becker said he's actually here a lot. He just doesn't want any notice of it.
He stays in the shadows.
Yeah. So you just don't see him. So, but he was at the game and waved to the crowd and they put him on the big screen. I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, so many people on the stage with Thornton was Ryan Clough, Patrick Marleau, Joe Pavelski, and Douglas Murray. And they each gave a speech. Yeah. So that was cool. There's a bunch of players that were there. They played the night before. They did the Legends game, which I couldn't get to, and I really wanted to, and I didn't even get to watch it. But I did see some highlights of Nabokov making a save. Did you see that?
No.
He robbed somebody, and then they all just mobbed him. Like both teams, like came like the guy who shot it was mad, and then everyone else was just like congratulating him. And they're like, "Hey, Nabby still got it." Yeah,
fantastic.
But anyway, Joe gets up there and starts ribbing some guys. Like, I got a video. I didn't get a clip for Jason to put it on here, but I recorded the one where they were doing where he gave all the nicknames. Joe Thornton gives out nicknames, and he was going through all of them. I'm like, oh, this is so good. But anyway, so many people are chiming in that he's such a great person. Not like as great of a hockey player he was.
Yeah.
He's even better as a person outside of hockey. I did have tears in my eyes when Douglas Murray gave his speech. When he talked about the homeless lady that they got an apartment for. Did you hear that part?
I only heard him speaking.
Joe.
Yeah.
So he was like, Douglas Murray's like, I got this phone call from Joe. And he says, hey, we're going to help move some people in. I need some help moving furniture in. Meet me at this place. He's like, so I pull up this apartment. I'm like, where are we? Like, we're somewhere in San Jose. He's like, I don't even know where we are. And Joe's like, yeah, there's a homeless woman with two kids, and Joe and his wife got them an apartment, and they're moving them in. No publicity, nothing. Nobody knew. Doug's is like, this was, 10, 15 years ago. I think it's safe that I could tell everyone now because nobody knows this thing, because that's just the kind of people that they are. Yeah. Him and his wife, like, they just love people and take care of them, and they're just really good people. And I was like, oh man, I was so touched by it.
Unreal.
So that was like, everyone almost had a tearjerker, but that's like kind of the outside of hockey kind of stuff that they do, and how much they bring to the organization as a whole, but like the city itself, like everything around them, right? Yeah. They touch so many people, and it's so great. So anyway, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add about Joe and his speeches.
I mean, I loved how the contrast between Joe and Patty in their speeches and their demeanor and everything. I mean, they couldn't be two more completely different people, right? Patrick Marleau, very calm, chill, reserved. I mean, the well-spoken type, and he just, I'm gonna point out to this guy, and Jumbo gets up to the stage and is like, yeah, San Jose!
Yeah. He was loving it. He was loving it.
Yeah. Let me feel that love.
Yeah.
He's yelling at the... I mean, he is such a ham.
Yes.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
This guy, if he doesn't take over as head of marketing for the Sharks, you guys are doing something wrong, right? I mean, just what a personality. And obviously you see it on the ice, and you see it during some of the practices and that kind of stuff, and him having a great time. You remember the tweet that I had sent out that time where after he had scored and all the boys were on the ice going like this, because when he scored the hat trick, and he's like, on the bench, and they were just clowning him at the next practice. And I mean, that's, he was doing that and having a good time with it. That's the type of guy he is. If that's Patty Marleau, Marleau's probably going to go, oh, they're funny, and just move on, right?
Too serious.
But yeah, he's very, he's getting cut and dry. At least that's what I gather from him, at least, But Jumbo, my God, he's just a big kid. He's a very large child with a big beard.
Yes.
And I love him for it. I love the energy that he brought when he was a player. I love the energy he brings off the ice now. Or I should say on the ice, because he's always out there with the Barracuda players and helping them develop, and with some of the Sharks rookies helping them develop. Obviously taking in Macklin as his billet, right, and having him live with them there. Not that it's so far away from Livermore, but the drive, I can attest, sucks.
Yes.
So having to drive up and down to San Jose from Livermore every time would absolutely be horrible. So awesome that he gets to live with them too. But hearing stories like that, where Cranky was talking about with the lady that you just brought up now, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Just what an amazing human being, and to be able to have him here in San Jose for as long as we did, just a special treat for anybody who came and watched Sharks hockey, and anybody who interacted with him. I know Debbie had some interactions with him before as well, and again, what's his name? We were at his house. You were your old neighbor. The police. Bill.
Yes.
When we were at, he has that picture up.
Yes.
And it's just totally Jumbo, right? Hey, can I get a picture, Joe? Only if it's a selfie, right? And so that's him and Bill, and they're both like this, just super happy, you know what I mean? And that's just what Joe that's just what Joe was like all the time as a player. Just the happiest guy. And to hear him in his speech, having nicknames for everybody and having a chuckle at everything was going on, saying, "Hey, Cooch, we hope to have you back. Can't we just see you on the ice again?" And Cooch kind of didn't really. He was just kind of like, yeah. So I think we can read into that one a little bit. But the amount, like, saying when he said to his cousin Scott, "I hope you're proud to see our name up in the rafters." And how many times did you hear him get choked up and after every single thing that he was saying? And how many times did he started to go like this and then, whoo! Yeah. He had to do that, whoo! He sounded like Ric Flair. He was going, whoo! So much, trying to get his breath to not cry and keep the tears out and everything. Joe Pavelski was crying as well. You can see, it was just a really heartfelt speech and moment for a guy that is that goofy. Not that many people should be crying. But that's what he meant to San Jose, and that's what he meant to all those people wearing teal. Just a really awesome moment, and I'm glad that I was able to watch it in some way, shape, or form. Pretty cool that you were able to be there for that, though.
It was great. Yeah, I bought tickets. I think it was the night before, and I took my 8-year-old son.
Yeah.
And I literally bought the last row up in the corner on the upper level, mainly because I could have gotten lower, but I was like, for him, he's 8, and we could stand up without blocking people and getting yelled at.
True.
So I'm like, screw it, we're gonna go all the way to the top, and so we were. Literally, the seats were the aisle, like the stairs going up, go to the seats. Like the seats come across where the stairs come up. So I'm standing. It was actually great viewpoints because you have nobody in front of you at all. So we could see everything on the ice, and we're in the corner. We're in 2 of 4. I would buy them again. They were great. But the stairs were, oh man, there's a lot of stairs.
It's very vertical too.
Yes,
it's not like it's stairs. It's stairs.
Yeah, for those who have not been to SAP. The second deck is one of the not the steepest anymore, but there's been more arenas. But at the time, it was the steepest arena. So when you're sitting in the back row, you're not like far back away. You're almost like on top of the ice looking down on it. And if you have vertigo, man, you can get pretty dizzy up there. But it was great seats, and we had a great time, and he had a great time. It did make for a long day. Because the ceremony started at 2:30 for a 5:00 game.
Oh my god!
So we were there for a long time, and we got to our seats probably like 2:25. Like we were close to. Like we made it. We were there in time, but it was like, man, we're gonna be here for a long time, and we were there until almost 8:00 that night. So he was done. He was exhausted, but it was fun. I guess I would do it again, but I don't know how many more jerseys are going to be retired, right? Which is also part of the allure. Yeah. I also wanted to bring him because I was like, you know what? Every time him goes to the arena, he's going to see that banner up and he's going to be there. Remember being there that day. Yeah. He might not have many memories of that day later on in life, but he'll remember being there and watch the banner.
If somebody spilled a beer, you had him in the back row. Nobody could spill a beer on from behind him and everything. So that's a core memory he'll be missing.
Sharky came by.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so Sharky, because we're in the back, there's kind of a platform behind the seats, and then there's the luxury boxes.
Okay, yeah.
So he walks on that platform. So he was walking right behind us, and he came right because there was a seat empty next to me.
Yeah.
So he came all the way from the section over and then came down, and so he was right there. And of course, Calvin was like,
"Oh yeah,
Sharky!" Yeah. All the kids around us were just going nuts.
That's my reaction too, to be fair.
Right.
So. I brought the beer spilling thing up. I don't know if anybody's going to get mad at me for talking about spilling beer on a kid. Is because that was one of Aaron's memories.
First, spilled beer. It was at the my first game I went to as a kid. I was roughly the same age. I was probably about 10 with my dad. And the only thing I really remember is it smelled bad.
Okay.
And the people behind us had empty milk cartons that they filled with their own beer into the game. So they're drinking beer out of a 1 gallon clear milk jug, but it had beer in it. And it just stunk. That's all I remember. And then they were yelling. They were chirping the Sharks.
The Sharks. Right. You're wondering,
And I was like, "Why? They're our team. Why would you talk smack about them?" But yeah, hopefully his memories will be a little bit better.
Yeah, a little better.
Yeah.
I think a jersey retirement ceremony is probably up there.
I think so.
A little bit higher than beer out of milk cartons.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I won't see the beer and milk cartons at every game I go to from now on either.
Well done. Okay, so we actually do have a clip, but we're going to do the roll call first.
Yes. So go ahead.
Roll call. So tell us what city you're watching us from, and what was your favorite part of Joe's jersey retirement. And while you were typing that in, we do have a clip of the banner raising.
The actual jersey going into the rafters. This is from my seats.
There you go. So the part that was missed there was actually them all having their hands on the button, and they count them down 3,
Together,
2, 1, and then they hit the button and it explodes out of the box or whatever. Yeah, and then
slowly rises up
right.
Yeah.
So okay, again, tell us what your favorite part of Joe's jersey retirement was. Aaron, what was your favorite part out of all of that?
I think just how many people showed up, like not just like the players, like the former, seeing all those former players was so cool. Like, obviously they came in for the week because they were there for the alumni game or the Legends game that they played the night before, which is also, I think, was cool. I really wanted to go to that, but we just couldn't make it happen. I chose to go to the banner raising over the Legends game, kind of in a way. Yeah. Plus that game started a little bit later. I think it was a 6 p.m. start, and there's no way that my kids were going to make that. So I think my favorite part of the whole ceremony is just having all of those guys there. They also had a lot of guys that couldn't be there that had video tributes. I don't know how much of that was played online, but there was many. I mean, Brent Burns, because he's playing.
Exactly.
So he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Pete DeBoer is another one. Mm-hmm. Doug Wilson had a message. Just so many different ones that came through that was also cool. So he had mentioned his favorite player was Pat LaFontaine on the Buffalo, which is the reason I didn't realize. I'm like, why did he choose the Buffalo game?
You would think they would take the Boston game or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah, I was thinking the Bruins game for sure.
Yeah.
His favorite, I think it was his favorite team growing up because he was kind of close to that area. Yeah. And Pat LaFontaine was his favorite player.
Right.
So Pat LaFontaine gave him a message. I don't know if that was played, but
no,
it was like during the intermissions they played it, nice. And he was great. Like it was like a cameo, right, out of his house.
Yeah.
And he's like congratulating him, and he made some funny joke at the end, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That tied in some other stuff, so that was cool. Seeing all the love from everyone. You could see how much, not just his teammates, but everybody just loves Jumbo. He's just a good dude. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah. I think for me, it's hard to put a finger on what the favorite part of that whole thing was, because the whole ceremony, it just really embodied everything that was Joe. And you got to see that in so many different facets of that whole speech that he gave. To like you said, the number of players, former players, that were sitting there and wanted to come for this moment for him, right? He had his mom and dad there, which is nothing new for somebody who's getting a jersey retired, I'm sure. But like the amount of love and support that was there on the ice, and then all of the players, the current players, were also off on their own little thing, like sitting there doing the house was packed, and we haven't seen a full house in like a long time too, right? I don't know. I guess for me, actually, my favorite part would have to be the ending of it all, the culmination. Finally having that number 19 up there in the rafters where it belongs. It's belonged there for a long time. It's belonged there, frankly, before he was playing with the Panthers and with the Maple Leafs. Honestly, like, he could have ended his career a lot earlier, and it still would have gone up, right? He didn't need to have those extra years. But having it up there and having it right there alongside Patrick Marleau is funny, because they go 1-2 in that draft, and Marleau beats him to the rafters, right? So Marleau got picked second, but he got there first in the rafters.
2-1,
yeah,
1-2.
Yeah. And it's funny because Marleau will always be known as Mr. Shark, no matter how beloved Joe Thornton is. But I think regardless of all of that, they're such good friends, and to have them side by side, immortalized in banner form, if you will, in SAP Center. That to me is got to be my favorite part. And again, everything that came before that, all the speeches, and especially Jumbo just being Joe. He was talking about how he's always got his shirt off in interviews and everything else. And people, I think somebody from the crowd was like, "Take your shirt off," probably, But it was just a really awesome, touching ceremony, and being able to see his number up there with right alongside Marlowe, as it should be, really fantastic. So yeah, I would say being able to look up there for every game and see those up there, it's got to be my favorite part so far. Yeah.
You mentioned the packed house, and I noticed, a lot of Sharks games, people kind of get there late, and they're getting to their seats, so it doesn't seem as full. This game was very different, jumping into the game now, because everybody was in their seats to start the game. It was crazy. So it was like, it seemed, again, like a playoff game. The atmosphere wasn't quite the same as a playoff game, but just the crowd being in their seats, ready to go, right when the puck is dropped. I thought that was cool. I haven't seen that in a very long time, probably since playoffs, right? Because in playoffs, you don't want to be late. You want to be there early. You want to see the show. You want to see all the stuff beforehand, which this was a very long and big show. But I thought that was cool, and the atmosphere was cool. My son I forgot to bring headphones for him, so he was a hard time in the beginning. Then he kind of let up. He was fine by the end, but it was pretty loud. It was pretty loud. I mean, the ceremony itself was kind of loud with everyone cheering, but the game itself, and getting into the game, that first 10 minutes of the game was not the Sharks of this season. They were so good and out shooting Buffalo and dominating.
Yes.
I was like, they're all over the place. They were probably on adrenaline going. I was wondering, did Thornton or some of the former players go into the locker room and give a pregame speech or something, right? Like before this game, because they were playing so well. That was the best 10 minutes of hockey I'd seen the Sharks start a game with, at least. Because they've been having really slow starts and always falling behind. And they finally got a goal and got rewarded with getting the lead. But at the end of the first, they outshot 16-11. I remember looking at the shots at one point, because they did start off with an early power play. The shot, I want to say it was like 11-1 or 11-2
it was
or
high.
something.
Yeah, it was really high.
I was like, wow, like we really are. I feel like we're destroying them in this game. Then I was like, well, in the back of my head, I'm like, just wait. This game's not over yet.
So, I want to make that comment for the majority of the games this week, actually, is that that's something I've been very critical of the Sharks, and something that they need to improve on, is not having these slow starts, not getting outshot 10-2 in the first period every single time, which they had been doing in previous weeks. I feel like this week, at least 2 to 3 of these 4 games, they came out of the gate strong, and even if they weren't ahead in shots, they were right there in shots. And this game, no exception. They came out just guns blazing. I have to imagine that whole ceremony and them getting pumped for that whole thing, getting inspired by all of that, had to have something to do with that. But just, again, a great effort this week in terms of starting on time, starting off the game right. And you could see that in the shot totals. And this game, no different here. Now, they did close the gap as the game went on, but at least they started off the right way, which is not something the Sharks typically have been doing. Not even just this season, but even seasons past, right?
Yeah.
During this whole rebuilding process, it's been really rough going, especially in that first period, trying to get the guys going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always slow starts. It was really annoying. So it was fun. Oh, Zetterlund who scored. I couldn't remember who it was. But Zetterlund scores 9:59 into the period, right? And then 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes later, a minute and 5 later, a minute 4 later, they tie the game. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Here we go. Come on, boys.
Yeah.
And that was that shorthanded? No, it wasn't shorthanded.
No, Tuck got the shorty.
Yeah, that's what it was in the third period. So, yeah.
But Luke Cunnin scores in this game, and actually he scored in a game earlier this week as well. I can't remember which one it was. But, we talk about Luke Cunnin as the garbage collector. I don't think we have the garbage collector. Nope, we don't. We will work on that, promise. But, yeah, he got a couple goals this week. Good on him. Again, this is a guy the Sharks really do like. Personally, I don't see it that much, but they really love Luke Cunnin, and when he scores goals, boy, are they happy for him. And I'm happy for him too, because ultimately he's still wearing teal. But yeah, to get 2, I think, in this week, I think he's got 4 in the season.
4, that was a
so. 4, I mean, even just in this week, he doubles his goal total. That's it promising. Keep that roll going. See where you can get from here.
I mean, he's a 4th line guy. If he can get to double-digit goals, by the end of the season, that's a win.
It's a good season for him. Yeah.
But I think he's on the last year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Pull it up real quick.
I think it'd be great for him to have a good season and get moved to a team that can use him.
He is, but the Sharks can't retain any salary. He's at 2.75. That might be a little too rich for some guys' blood, but maybe a decent contract coming back. Yeah. I can see him getting moved. Teams need Jeeps, and this is another team full of Jeeps, the Sharks are. So there's Granlund at the end of his contract. Cunnin with Sturm is another one who's been hurt now. And Giovanni Smith is another one.
By the way, Nico Sturm, I did see him on the ice yesterday. I think it was yesterday, yeah. I saw him on the ice yesterday, and he was working hard. He was skating hard. Hard turns, sharp turns, hard shot. Minky has shot. I swear that guy shoots so hard. But yeah, he's out there and he's working hard on the ice. He's not doing like soft stuff. He hasn't joined the practice so much, but he was with one of the coaches.
Was it upper or lower body? Do you know?
I don't even remember. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you based on what I saw the other day. He looked 100% to me. But what do I know? But it'd be great to have him back in the lineup. The Sharks certainly miss his face-off percentage, his ability to win those draws, and certainly the tenacity and defensive prowess that he brings to any line that he ends up centering on. So I'm sure he'll be back sooner than later. I don't think he didn't look far off at all. He looked like he was ready to go. So anyway, I just want to say that's because you brought up Nico. There. Yeah.
Yep. So this game, I felt like Tyler Toffoli had 3+ chances.
Yeah.
That he scores these goals all the time, and for some reason this game he was just off. Something was off. Like he would miss the net. I think he hit the post or crossbar in one of them. Great chances, great opportunities. He's in high danger scoring chances and couldn't put it away. So I feel like this is a game that got away from them. Reimer was in net too, former Sharks goalie who promptly got booed when they announced him for the game in the beginning. Got a good amount of boos, and then he was the first star of the game. Got a lot of boos at the end of the game for that one. Yeah. So he was getting an earful there, but
he did have one save in particular.
Yeah,
that is, as they said on the broadcast, save of the year candidate. This was bonkers. Like it was the Macklin, I think, took the shot, and he came over and he makes the initial save, and the puck flips up. And as the puck is going up and he's falling down, he turns his glove from here. He turns it over and catches it like this and lands like on his back.
I missed that in the game because I ran to go get a water for me and Calvin. And Calvin stayed in his seat, and I came back and I heard the crowd going crazy. And I'm like, did I miss a goal? What happened?
Yeah.
And I come back there and he tried to explain to me, the goalie did this and he somehow caught it. I had no idea what he was talking about. I didn't get to even see the replay, so I had no idea.
This replay. Yeah. Guys, if you saw the replay, tell him in the chat, guys. It was absolutely bonkers. Yeah, for him, he came across like this and made the save, and then he sees the puck going behind him and he flips his glove over like this.
So it would have been a Celebrini goal.
It might have been. Who knows? It might have fallen, hit the back of his leg pad and rolled in or something.
But it's Celebrini who shot it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you should have seen Celebrini's reaction too.
Yeah.
Guys, did you see this? He goes like this. It was like what's his name? Not Zegras, the other one. Trevor? No, I don't remember his name. The guy that flipped the puck over the net and then the other one batted it in. Whoever that guy is, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Zegras flipped it.
Yeah. But
Mason,
anyway,
was it?
Anyway, the look on that guy's face, it was just like, it was the same thing Macklin did. It was just, he couldn't believe like what he just saw. It was crazy. So yeah, definitely one of those ones of the spectacular variety. And there's a lot of people are booing Reimer in the chat. That's hilarious. So anyway, it was a fantastic save by James Reimer, Farmer Shark. So there you go. Okay,
cool.
Was there any what do you call it? Comments here about what their favorite moment was?
Yeah, there's a few in here.
Let's go through these real quick.
Let's see. I had a cool talk with Scotty Nickel. It turns out he's the assistant general manager of the Predators now, which is cool. I mean, think about the Good Old Boys Network. That's another. I think Greer played on the team with them, right?
It seems like it would have been in the same era.
Roughly, yeah. Kellen Foster's in Orange County. I love seeing all the players during the Buffalo game, especially Thornton's dad. Debbie said Sunnyvale and Joe's love of the game and his gratitude towards his family and friends. Grant Iser did say, I'm in the minority, but I think if they ever did an Owen Nolan event, I'd get more choked up. Both players are special, but Owen is more special to me. It helped set the Sharks on their winning ways. It did change. That was kind of a new era for the Sharks when Owen Nolan came to the team, because they did have those two teams that went to the playoffs, and with Jamie Baker, they beat the Red Wings. It's an 8-1 seed, and then they did it again the next year against, oh boy, I'm blanking on the 94-95 team who they beat. But anyway, they did it 2 years in a row. But then they kind of went off and were a bad team for a while. And then the trade with Ozolinsh to the then Nordiques, or they just and then they moved to become the Avalanche. For Owen Nolan, that was that really changed, I think, especially because he was on the cover of NHL '98, right? So he became kind of the first superstar, if you will, of the Sharks. At least league-wide, everyone knew who he was. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I was a big Owen Nolan fan too, and he was there. He was at the event. He doesn't do a lot of events. You don't see him a lot in alumni stuff, so that was cool to see him. Even though they never even played together, I'm sure he was still around. He played against him a bunch because he was on Calgary at that point. But yeah, that I loved Owen Nolan, and I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I wouldn't say retire his jersey.
I wouldn't. Yeah. So now here's the thing. Now there's got to be some sort of criteria in terms of jersey retirement.
We talked about this with Deborah last week.
Okay, my question for you then is: Does Pavelski's number go up?
I don't think so.
So why not Pavelski when he was a drafted homegrown talent, right?
I know,
but he is as synonymous with the Sharks as anybody else is.
The criteria I said was a minimum 1,000 games played with your team.
Okay,
I think for a jersey retirement, or X amount of cups won, or just that player that's won a bunch of trophies, like maybe individual trophies while they're there. I love Pavelski.
Yes,
I'm not saying I don't like him. I don't think his number 8 should be retired in the rafters. If they won a cup in 2016, yes. If they won a cup in 2016 and in 2018-19, whenever they went to the conference finals, absolutely. But I don't think so for me.
See, and I'm asking because I'm struggling with that myself. Like I'm thinking, like I would think that if Thornton and Marleau are up there, that Pavelski is logical that he should be up there. Right? But like why am I hesitating and saying that he shouldn't be up there? Because he should. I mean, nobody else won cups, right?
Yeah.
Did Marleau win a whole bunch of trophies that I'm unaware of? I don't think Marleau has a deep trophy case.
He has the most games played ever in the NHL.
Absolutely.
That's one of them.
Fine, great. Does Pavelski doesn't have as many games played as Thornton and Teal?
Sorry, what?
Does Pavelski doesn't have as many games played in Teal as Thornton had?
I'll tell you right now.
Because Thornton played the first handful of years in Boston. Right? So
Pavelski started at 963. I knew he was just shy of 1,000 because he celebrated his 1,000th game for Dallas. I'm not saying that's one of the criteria.
For 37 games, I think we can make an exception.
Right.
But I'm still I'm torn. Like,
he's third.
I don't know that he should.
It's Marleau, Thornton, Pavelski in points. You can see the stats right there.
Oh, okay.
This is the Sharks' overall stats. So it goes Marleau, Thornton, Pavelski, Couture, Burns. That's crazy that Couture is already up there too. But to me, it's like, okay, that's a whole era that you're retiring jerseys of 3 guys, if you include Pavelski, 3 guys from the same era.
That all played together.
Together, right? Okay. Well, there's going to be future players, hint, hint, Celebrini, that could possibly be retired, right? How many guys are you going to retire? How many numbers are you going to retire? Yeah. To me, that's too much. Yeah. I mean, who was it? Ruzanowski said it? Somebody said that your jersey retirement is the ultimate thing over the Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah. Because nobody can wear your jersey again for that team. Yeah. I mean, Gretzky's the only one that's retired throughout the league. Yeah. But
which, by the way, I will say this: retired throughout the NHL, and it doesn't mean that guys in other leagues can't wear 99, but they shouldn't. Okay, they shouldn't. And too many kids are wearing 99 on their jersey, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing this. Parents, do better. Coaches,
see this a lot.
Do better. Do better. It's ridiculous the amount of number 99s I see. It's stupid. Have some respect for the game, for the man, for the legend, for yourself. Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
Absolutely freaking embarrassing. You think you're the great one? You kidding me? Get that jersey off your back, kid. Earn that.
So angry.
I hate it. I hate seeing it. And I wasn't even... Look, I didn't even cheer for any of the teams that Gretzky played for. Okay? But I have some level of respect. And seeing all these kids out there with 99 on their backs...
Speaking of Gretzky, are you paying attention to Ovechkin?
I am.
He is going to beat...
Is he back?
No, I think he's hurt right now.
Okay.
But there's a chance...
He'll beat it this season.
That he beat, not just this season, that he beats the record and does it in less games than Gretzky, which to me is crazier than actually beating the record. Like, because Gretzky's era was so different compared to what Ovechkin played through. I mean, it got better, but I think just that stat plus how many lockouts did Ovechkin go through where he missed out on playing some games, right? Like, I think that's crazy. So I'm watching this. This is awesome. What? Joe just said, what if that kid had 99 but also Gretzky versus his own?
Okay, if it's a fan jersey, Joe, super cute Joe trying to troll me right now. No, if it's a fan jersey and you're just like a fan of Gretzky's and you're wearing it, that's fine. But when you're on the ice playing and it's your last name and you have number 99, I want to rip that off your son's back. I don't care if he's 11 years old. You take it off.
Here's a couple of good comments. Fun fact from I'm the Beat Blood. Fun fact, Mike Ricci and Sandis Ozolinsh have their names on the cup right next to each other. That's cool.
Oh.
When they played for the Avalanche. And where was the other one? Peter St. John. I looked up that set, Aaron. It turns out that Montreal has retired something like 17 numbers, and the Rangers have like 15 numbers. That's a lot of numbers.
That's a lot.
Being retired.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been around a long time, so it makes sense. But to pick 3 from the same era when you're going to have, hopefully, have more eras, right?
I like how you paused.
Well, hopefully. That the team doesn't get moved or sold or change hands. Because you never know. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you never know. With an owner who's in their 80s. Like, who knows what's going to happen. So, I just don't think Pavelski belongs in that category.
But I'm having a hard time, justifying why. You know what I'm saying?
If they did it, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Right.
All right. Sure.
I can't make an argument against it so much, right? That's where I'm stuck. I'm not saying that Marleau doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying Thornton doesn't deserve it. But I am saying, in the same way that if Quentin Musty should be playing in the NHL, if Will Smith is, then if Marleau and Thornton are getting their jerseys retired, Pavs has to be in that conversation. I don't care if they play together. He has to be in that conversation. Now, whether you do or you don't, it's one thing or another, fine. But he's got to be in the conversation. I heard some people last week saying Nabokov.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
I think Pavelski makes more sense than Nabby does, and I love Nabby.
It's a good sign that nobody has worn number 8 since Pavelski left. So there's a chance. I was just looking that up real quick to see who else wore it.
Yeah. That might just be out of a respect thing, but if you're going to have nobody wear it out of respect, you may as well just have nobody wear it, period. Right?
Yeah. I mean, Marco Sturm was number 19 before Joe.
Yeah.
And he got traded for Joe, so that kind of made it easy.
That's probably why he got traded.
Why.
Yeah. I need my number 19.
We're going to have to get rid of
Joe would
this
have had
guy.
97 because he wore that for Canada, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have gone 97 for the NHL.
Why not?
He probably would have paid Sturm to take the number.
Maybe.
Which is what players do when they come to a team like that, or when something like that happens. Yeah.
Oh, super producer Jason.
Yeah, he's falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's giving us the sign.
Okay, let's move this along then. What's next here?
Let's see. I saw this on Blue Sky here, and he doesn't have the clip, but Pierre LeBrun. It's actually his bot that popped over. Nothing official yet, and this was on the 21st, which is 3 days ago. Nothing official yet, but word is Brad Pascal and Joe Thornton will combine again to manage Canada's team in the Spengler Cup, and it sounds like Gerard Gallant will be the head coach.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he says again, so it looks like he'd already done it before. I missed that part. Now, the Spengler Cup, I'm like, what is the Spengler Cup? So I Googled it. What is the Spengler Cup? Because I'm old. And it's an annual invitational ice hockey tournament held in Davos, Switzerland. So it makes sense that he's involved. It's also the team that he played for during the lockout and where he met his wife. It was first held in 1923, and it's often cited as the oldest invitational ice hockey tournament in the world. Usually, Team Canada is one of the only North American team that goes over and plays. There's been a handful of others that have gone, but they've been the consistent. And this is going to take place I think it takes place in December. So he's going to be manager? Is that what it was? They're managing the team, not coaching, but managing, like kind of general manager. So they're probably going to be picking the players that are going to be going. So that was pretty cool. So that made me think, is that kind of his kind of kickstart into a management role after hockey, right? Mm-hmm. Right now he's what is he, the director of vibes or the
director of vibes.
Yeah. So that just made me think like, he's getting his feet wet a little bit here.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
And he's got a good mentor there in San Jose with Silky. So
you're just gonna call him that.
I don't know that I'm gonna call him my Greer again.
Would you call that to his face?
Silky? Yeah. Maybe if I ran immediately after that. Just Silky. No, maybe he is. Maybe he's getting interested in that stuff. I don't think so because I know right now, and he even said this. He's having a great time coaching the 11U team that his son plays on. So, that's probably what he's more focused in on right now. And maybe down the road after he gets his feet wet, right? Maybe that'll be something he pursues. But he doesn't need money either, so I can't imagine he cares.
He doesn't do it for the money. It's more of
just the love of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want your GM, hey boy, with the tarps off, it's kind of a weird GM meeting, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's GM
director
material.
Of vibes. That's what it was, right?
I don't know if he's GM material. Like I don't know if that's up his alley. You know what I mean?
I wasn't thinking
he's too
GM.
fun for that.
I was thinking just something officially working for a team in some kind of role, maybe assistant GM, maybe just sideshow Bob clown guy that's there for comedic timing.
Well, anyway, so he'll be co-managing Team Canada for the Spengler Cup. I saw it's on ESPN Plus or something like that for USA. So if you happen to have that is where you can go to check that out. Pretty cool stuff. Moving on, upcoming games, not upcoming. Words are hard.
Words elude me.
So Monday, that is tomorrow. Wow. Okay.
It's a busy month. This week itself, too.
4 games.
Yes.
Monday, LA Kings against LA Kings, so at home. Which is nice. Wednesday, against Ottawa at home. Friday, against Seattle. This is an earlier game, 12:30 p.m. Again, at home. And then this is what they call home and home. So Friday in San Jose against Seattle. Saturday in Seattle against Seattle.
It's nice is that it's a 12:30 afternoon game
Yes.
then they can fly.
Right.
It's not a night game and then followed by a night game, so they kind of get a little bit more rest than a true back-to-back.
And I'm sure that helps both the Sharks and
it's
Kraken.
Seattle. It's not a far
flight.
Right. You're not going cross country.
Yeah.
But I love these types of home and homes. I wish the NHL would kind of schedule a little bit more of those, maybe even within the division, like because you play your division more than you play other teams.
Yeah.
Because it gets the feistiness carries over from one game to the next.
Yeah.
And you see more of a playoff type game. And now, especially if these were later in the season, maybe February, March, when teams are really fighting for playoff spots and you really need to get divisional wins to leapfrog some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see more of this. It also kind of cuts down on travel a little bit. Maybe not the home and home, but definitely gives you a playoff atmosphere and most likely a playoff preview of upcoming playoffs. I'm not saying for the Sharks. I'm just saying in general, when you're playing against your division, because you usually play against your division, a good chance that you're playing against your division in the first round. So it would kind of carry over into that. So I like it. I'm expecting nastiness to come out, especially in the second game. They've already played each other, I think, once this season, right?
Yeah.
So it's just fun. It's fun to see these games, and I feel like Seattle, they match well against Seattle, and it's a winnable game.
I'm gonna be honest. As long as Celebrini's in the lineup, they've got an opportunity to beat any team, like literally any team. Like that's the magic that he brings, and we've seen them play extremely good teams. We saw them play the Jets earlier this season. The Jets are on an absolute tear. They didn't look horrible against the Jets. We've seen them play everybody else that it's gone to like a single goal or get an empty netter against, or they take it to overtime. We got that stat earlier where there was 5 games leading the league in when they're within a goal within 10 minutes and then tie it up. Right. This team just they don't quit. And we said that in the last couple of seasons, like, yeah, that's what you want. You want a team that's just going to make it entertaining and not give up and everything else. But this team just does not stop, right? And a lot of that, I think, has to do with that culture in the locker room, right? Not so much necessarily changing. I don't think anybody goes into a locker room going, well, we should give up tonight, right? That's right. But I think there's that youthful energy, especially coming out of Macklin, that is just... It's infectious.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think everybody's kind of feeding off of that and kind of like, you know what, we have come back before in these other games. We've done it 5 times, right? We've done this. We've seen that we've got the skill enough to do that, to make this game that seems like it might be out of reach or it might be too late and still be able to maybe squeak one out here. And there's that belief. And that's one of the things about this season that maybe is a little bit different or feels a little bit different. And I'm trying to put my finger on what that is, and I think that might be it. I feel like this team believes that they can compete with everybody else. They don't just say it on camera.
That's the big difference, I think, from last season is they don't give up. They do believe that they have a chance no matter what, and it helps that they have half of a different roster than they did last year.
Yeah.
So and a new coaching staff too. Yeah. Kind of a new coaching staff, I guess, because Warsofsky was there as an assistant, but a different mindset, different players, different everything. And yes, I plus you have this wonder kid of Celebrini and even Will Smith to some degree, right?
You brought his name.
Yeah,
I told you not to do that.
I was also mistaken. They have not played Seattle this season yet. Thank you, Sharknado, for pointing that out. I don't know why I was thinking. I kind of mix up Utah and Seattle.
Oh, I'm thinking of Utah too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just mixed them up.
I was like, wait, no, we played the
2 bland name teams. Yeah. Also, I've been looking into going to the Seattle game so much and like pricing it out and everything that I just assumed that they'd played it, and it's just in my head so much. Anyway, so that'll be exciting to see them play for the first time this season against each other.
I have to pull my phone out here because there's where is it now? Don't go to me, Super Jason. Go back there.
Yes, this is great.
There you go. Yeah, things are awesome over there in Aaron land.
3 hours later.
I don't even know what you're looking for right now.
I was looking for the player stats for the Sharks, and I can have you bring that up if you'd like to. But Now, again, plus minus is not exactly the greatest stat, but it is fairly telling. And on this team, and we talked a little bit earlier about this, leading the team with a +4. You've got it there. Okay, leading the team with a +4. 2 players. The attack of the killer tomato himself, Fabian Zetterlund, the red-faced baby assassin.
Yes,
that's what he's got the reddest face of anybody on the ice or on the planet. I think it's the ice that brings out
like
the
a
blood
little
in his
cherub
cheeks.
doll.
He really
he's just like it's like little angel cherub dolls.
By the way,
things that you
when he scored and you saw him go like this for Jumbo during the Buffalo game, fantastic. Him and I wouldn't have guessed this one, Jake Wallman. I know he's got the offense, but I've seen him do some really weird things defensively, and I would not have expected him to be at the top of this list. Now, again, plus minus is kind of a whatever stat, but both of those guys +4. Who is at the bottom of the list in plus minus on this team?
Oh, boy.
Who's at the bottom? Give me the name. There's only one. There's no tie. It's all by
close.
himself. He's all by himself. Will Smith. Will Smith is at the very bottom at a -13.
He had a rough
did
first couple weeks.
He absolutely
I think the first month.
He did. And then he had a really good game where he scored 2 goals.
He had a couple good games close to each other. He strung together some good plays, I thought. He's coming together. He's bringing it together. It's going to be a slow process.
He had a good game where he got 2 goals, okay? He's got 4 total points on the season, and 2 of those are goals that came from the same game, all right? I'm not saying Will Smith is bad, okay? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if this was Daniel Gushin and these were his stats, he'd probably get pushed down to the AHL. You can't tell me that a guy like Colin Graff, who's doing fantastic at the AHL level, doesn't deserve a shot to come in and take over some of these minutes. You can't tell me there are other guys on the AHL roster right now that wouldn't be getting a shot if that guy's name wasn't Will Smith and they hadn't pumped him. Okay? I'm sorry, but your development days thing, I'm just not buying it anymore. I'm not buying it. And it's not that he's not going to get better. He's going to get better. And by the end of the season, he'll probably be a pretty decent player. I feel like, as you said with one of the other guys, and I can't remember who it was, and I said, don't put him in the AHL, and you said, no, he belongs in the AHL. He's going to get better if you
Musty?
I think it was, no. It wasn't Musty. I think it was it Eklund? I don't remember. It was one of the players. You were like,
last year?
I don't remember who it was now. But you had said about somebody, you put him in the AHL because he's going to do better there. And I cannot remember who it was. And he's going to grow more. And that's my justification for Will Smith right now is I'm not saying he's a bad player. What I am saying is these development days, if he needs them, then he shouldn't be in the NHL. He should be getting more reps in the AHL, getting confidence, playing better. When I watch Will Smith play, it's not just about the stats. I brought up stats. Yes. Stats aside, when you watch him play, there is a lack of foot movement. He's coasting all over the ice. When he is skating and he's trying to get a puck like from somebody else, he's trying to get the puck away, there's a lot of lunging and there's a lot of that going on. When he shoots the puck, his feet are still. He's waiting for someone to get him the puck, and then he's firing the puck standing still. There's a lot of things to his game that have me scratching my head as to why is he still in the NHL, and I don't think that he needs to go to the AHL because he's bad or because he's terrible or whatever else. I think he belongs there because that's where you go to develop, and I do not think, and it's perfectly fair, he's 19 years old, okay? I think as a 19-year-old, he's not ready to play in the NHL, whereas Macklin as an 18-year-old is, and it's just a difference in their approach of the game, right? I would much rather see some of these guys in the AHL who are doing extremely well get that opportunity because of the hard work, as opposed to his name is Will Smith, and he was the guy that we've paired with Macklin, and so therefore we must have them both in the NHL, even if one of them needs more development days. Right? And I watched even in the game, I think it was today's game or the other day's game, where puck was coming out of their zone, out of we'll say it was Buffalo. I don't know if it was Buffalo, but it's coming out of the Buffalo zone, going through the neutral zone. And Smith is behind, and he's kind of chasing it down, and he's not really chasing it down. You could see that he could be moving his feet faster. And Macklin's like to the left of Will Smith, kind of coasting through and seeing, okay, are you going to get there? And it's like he recognizes that that's as much as Will Smith's given. Macklin turns the jets on, gets in front of both of them, and takes the puck away. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be that it's Macklin. It could have been anybody else. Anybody with some speed in their step, right? But that's what an NHLer does. And Will Smith is not doing those things. So, again, for me, it's not that he's a bad player and he's a bust. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if it's going to take him 200 games of NHL experience to get to where we think he ought to be, maybe some of that should include some AHL games to help him get to those 200 to where he can be what we think he's going to be. I'm excited for the future of Will Smith. I'm not excited for the present Will Smith in the NHL. I would much rather see him get his reps at the AHL level and give somebody else who's put the hard work in go and get that opportunity at the NHL level.
Do you think it has to do because he's all on the marketing?
He's what?
On the marketing stuff, so they have to kind of keep him up?
That's what I'm saying. His name is Will Smith. You put him on these posters all over the place. And so we got to play him.
Looking at the Barracuda stats right now, Colin Graff is leading.
Look at Colin Graff.
He's got 5 goals and 14 assists, so 19 points in 16 games.
I don't even know who this name is.
Podolarski, Andrew Podolarski. He's got 17 points in 16 games. Luca Cagnoni, 16 and 16.
Dude.
5 goals, 11 assists. Every level that he's played at, I'm impressed. I'm impressed because usually there's kind of a learning curve, right? When you jump from when you went from was it WHL to AHL?
Yeah,
that was kind of a big jump for him, and he's doing well.
Yeah,
it's not stopping.
Yeah,
it wasn't a blip. It's consistent.
Right.
I'm very, very excited about that. Maybe we do see some of these guys get called up close to the trade deadline because there's going to be more spots opened up with more guys leaving.
See, and it's not like you can't push Will Smith down because he'll get claimed.
No.
He can't get claimed.
No. But people pay to see Will Smith.
No, they don't.
Partially.
No, they don't. I'm not paying to watch Will Smith. Are you kidding? I'm paying for 2 things. I'm paying to watch Macklin Celebrini and Nico Sturm, captain of my heart. Oh, those are the 2 guys I'm paying for, and Nico's hurt. Okay, so you do the math. I'm there to watch Macklin. That's what it is.
The Podolarski disrespect is insane. I'm probably butchering his name.
I'm so sorry. I don't even know who that guy is, and I should. You're absolutely right. I should know who this is because you're probably going to see him get a call-up one of these days.
Colin Graff is also benefiting playing with AHL All-Stars. That's true. What I want to see is... I want to see Mook Madulin get called up at some point and get some games in. I know he's been hurt.
My whole point here is there's a whole slew of guys that are doing extremely well on the AHL roster, and it's not just the points. Again, I'm sure you can see the way that they're playing and the effort level that they're giving. And I don't know if Will thinks he's still in college or not, and that he's just better, and so therefore he doesn't have to. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm telling you, I'm watching Will Smith. I'm not looking at just the stats. I'm watching Will Smith, and I'm going, move! Like, why are you so slow? Oh, my God. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the sooner the better that he can remedy that, and I think that he's going to do that quicker by getting games in the AHL. I don't know. But that's my take. I asked you not to bring up his name. You did. You didn't ask me to rant, so that's on me, okay? But you brought up the name, so there you go.
I think we have to wake up super producer Jason.
Yeah, poor guy's asleep over here. Anyway. But not you guys. You guys are awake. Thanks for staying up with us for as long as you have. If you're still in the chat, we appreciate you there. Aaron?
Don't forget, Colin Graff.
Yeah?
He was the undrafted college player that basically got to choose where he wanted to go because there was a bunch of teams that wanted him, and the Sharks were one of them, and he signed with the Sharks because he saw a better path to the NHL, I think, than any other. And they probably
because we were terrible,
right?
Yeah,
right. I'm sure it's coming.
I'm sure it's coming.
It has to be coming. It has to be.
I don't know about Will Smith, but I'm sure Colin Graf is the next guy that's going to get called up.
I don't think it's going to be Will Smith. And I think it's because his name is Will Smith. And they've got him on posters. And they've been promoting and blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, it's if you go by what you see on the ice, there are other guys that belong in that spot over him. And if his name was not Will Smith, if it was Podolsky or however you say that guy's name, and nobody knew who this guy was, and he was performing at the level that Will Smith is performing in the NHL, that guy's getting pushed down to the AHL and another guy's getting called up. And it say whatever you want to say about it, call it whatever you want to call it, but that's the way I see it right now. I just feel like he would do much better getting a chance to play in the AHL, to get some confidence, to get told to move your legs faster. This is not a development league.
Yeah.
It's not a development league. If you need development days, you're in the wrong league. That's the way I see it. So I wish Will Smith all the best. I hope he gets a whole heck of a lot better. But that's just what I see right now. It's a little frustrating. And I hope that the other guys that are working their tails off in the AHL are going to get their chance. It's not a bad take, by the way. It's a great take. I hope that they get their chance because they've been working their tails off and they deserve the opportunity. So there you go. Debbie says, good night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving and celebrate to all that celebrate. Thankful for the Fin Factor and the community. Oh, thank you, Debbie. We're thankful for you and your cookies as well. And obviously being in the chat and talking with us and staying up as late as you have. Do appreciate that. I understand that they're not the same, but my point is if they were producing at that level, they'd probably be either healthy scratched or sent down. That's my point. So with that, and I probably struck a nerve with a lot of these people today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway, I don't normally do that. Normally we're all happy here, but I had to go on my rant. Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry, not sorry. On that note, we are going to say goodnight because it is very late, and we appreciate everybody once again. Red. Did we score a goal? What is this? We appreciate all you guys being in the chat and everybody who's subscribed. If you're not subscribed, it's just a button down there. Tap that. It's fantastic. And then hit the bell so you know when we're going live. That way you are alerted to the fact with big red lights in the background. So we appreciate, again, all of you guys jumping in. If you'd like to support the show, again, you can do that with the super chat function, or you can go to Venmo at the Fin Factor, put something in there, and we'll go ahead and read it off from one of the shows that's coming up here. You can also go to thefinfactor.com, check out any of the merch that we have there for sale. It does help support the show, so we do appreciate that. On that note, we're going to end it. Aaron, any last thing to say here?
No, I'm tired. Let's go.
You're not going to defend Will Smith? Wow, you're just going to sit there and take it.
I don't agree, but I'm not going to get into it at the end of the show.
We'll talk about that maybe next show. Yeah. But for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
Next week, as long as I'm not getting kicked off the show and suspended. Yeah, I probably will. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube. Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts.